My name's Parisa, and I'm a vice president of engineering and lead the Chrome team. So, as general manager of the Chrome team, I lead a team of engineers and product managers and designers around the world who actually build Chrome and keep all of our users safe. I think accessibility is important to all aspects of technology. And when we think about its relevance for cybersecurity, we ultimately want to keep everybody as safe. I think of accessibility as making information, activities, or even environments meaningful, sensible, usable to as many people as possible. And when we're talking about this in a technology standpoint, it's usually about making information or services available to people with disabilities. Decisions we make based on our own abilities to enhance security can actually be ineffective. For example, you'll sometimes see the color red used for indication of a warning. Well, for somebody who's colorblind, that is going to be ineffective. And so really thinking about accessibility when we're trying to keep people safe is super important for them to be effective. I've worked in the space of security for a really long time. I do see some parallels between the spaces. I've really been able to see innovation driven when you're trying to solve a very specific security problem or a specific accessibility problem. Closed captioning was originally designed and built to help people with hearing impairments, but it ends up helping everybody. For people who are new to the field of cybersecurity, it's just really important to remember that there's a range of abilities that you are wanting to serve. It's so important to get user research and feedback and a range of abilities in terms of testing the effectiveness of your security mitigations. I know it was scary for me early on. I didn't look like everybody else. I really struggled with whether I belonged. Finding people who could be mentors, having the courage to ask questions and recognize that you're rarely the only person with that question, and just sort of persevering through sometimes hard moments can lead to breakthroughs and also just growing confidence. And one of the things I've learned is me having a different background than other people in this space was my own superpower. Instead of focusing on the delta between what I was and what the norm was in the room, I should feel a lot of pride in what made me unique and what unique skills and perspective I brought to the table.
Hello again. Previously, we discussed how SIM tools help security analysts monitor systems and detect security threats. In this video, we'll cover some industry-leading SIM tools that you'll likely encounter as a security analyst. First, let's discuss the different types of SIM tools that organizations can choose from based on their unique security needs. Self-hosted SIM tools require organizations to install, operate, and maintain the tool using their own physical infrastructure, such as server capacity. These applications are then managed and maintained by the organization's IT department rather than a third-party vendor. Self-hosted SIM tools are ideal when an organization is required to maintain physical control over confidential data. Alternatively, cloud-hosted SIM tools are maintained and managed by the SIM providers, making them accessible through the internet. Cloud-hosted SIM tools are ideal for organizations that don't want to invest in creating and maintaining their own infrastructure. Or an organization can choose to use a combination of both self-hosted and cloud-hosted SIM tools, known as a hybrid solution. Organizations might choose a hybrid SIM solution to leverage the benefits of the cloud while also maintaining physical control over confidential data. Splunk Enterprise, Splunk Cloud, and Chronicle are common SIM tools that many organizations use to help protect their data and systems. Let's begin by discussing Splunk. Splunk is a data analysis platform, and Splunk Enterprise provides SIM solutions. Splunk Enterprise is a self-hosted tool used to retain, analyze, and search an organization's log data to provide security information and alerts in real time. Splunk Cloud is a cloud hosted tool used to collect, search, and monitor log data. Splunk Cloud is helpful for organizations running hybrid or cloud only environments where some or all of the organization's services are in the cloud. Finally, there's Google's Chronicle. Chronicle is a cloud native tool designed to retain, analyze, and search data. Chronicle provides log monitoring, data analysis, and data collection. Like cloud hosted tools, cloud native tools are also fully maintained and managed by the vendor. But cloud native tools are specifically designed to take full advantage of cloud computing capabilities, such as availability, flexibility, and scalability. Because threat actors are frequently improving their strategies to compromise the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of their targets, it's important for organizations to use a variety of security tools to help defend against attacks. The SIM tools we just discussed are only a few examples of the tools available for security teams to use to help defend their organizations. And later in the certificate program, you'll have the exciting opportunity to practice using Splunk Cloud and Chronicle.
I'm Talia, and I am an engineer within privacy, safety, and security at Google. So there are a lot of myths in the cybersecurity space. One big one is you must know how to code, or you must know how to hack, or you must be a math whiz. I don't know how to code, although I have learned how to read code over time. I'm not a hacker. I'm not on the red team side of security. I'm more like on the blue team. I'm not a math whiz. I definitely took the business route, but I'm not a mathematician. That wasn't really the path. So a lot of my strength really lies in my ability to build relationships, learn quickly on the job, conducting research, asking all the right questions. I think those have been my strongest strength. Another big myth is that you are required to have a cybersecurity degree. I actually went to school for business. An advanced degree is not required. Even though I did later on go back, that was my preference. You do not need to pursue that in order for you to be considered a great candidate for cybersecurity. Another big one is you work in isolation within cybersecurity. It really depends on the path that you choose, but I found that to be one of the most, it couldn't be further from the truth. My biggest advice for anyone who's interested in cybersecurity is be okay with creating your own path. The path looks different for everyone. If you were to talk to 5 different people, their journeys are all different. So own your journey and, identify people who can support you. Let them know that you're sitting for the certificate and see what kind of support that you can get as you start your journey.
Let's quickly review what we covered in this section of the course. We started by discussing the importance of logs in cybersecurity, and we explored different log types, like firewall, network, and server logs. Next, we explored SIM dashboards and how they use visual representations to provide security teams with quick and clear insights into the security posture of an organization. Finally, we introduced common SIM tools used in the cybersecurity industry, including Splunk and Chronicle. We'll be exploring even more security tools later in the program, and you'll have opportunities to practice using them. Coming up, we'll discuss playbooks and how they help security professionals respond appropriately to identified threats, risks, and vulnerabilities. Meet you there. Hello, and welcome back. You've reached the final section of this course. Previously, we discussed security information and event management, or SIM tools, and how they can be used to help organizations improve their security posture. Let's continue our security journey by exploring another tool security professionals use: playbooks. In this section, we'll explore how playbooks help security teams respond to threats, risks, or vulnerabilities identified by SIM tools. Then, we'll discuss the 6 phases of incident response. Let's get started. Previously, we discussed how SIM tools are used to help protect an organization's critical assets and data. In this video, we'll introduce another important tool for maintaining an organization's security known as a playbook. A playbook is a manual that provides details about any operational action. Playbooks also clarify what tools should be used in response to a security incident. In the security field, playbooks are essential. Urgency, efficiency, and accuracy are necessary to quickly identify and mitigate a security threat to reduce potential risk. Playbooks ensure that people follow a consistent list of actions in a prescribed way, regardless of who is working on the case. Different types of playbooks are used. These include playbooks for incident response, security alerts, team-specific and product-specific purposes. Here, we'll focus on a playbook that's commonly used in cybersecurity called an incident response playbook. Incident response is an organization's quick attempt to identify an attack, contain the damage, and correct the effects of a security breach. An incident response playbook is a guide with 6 phases used to help mitigate and manage security incidents from beginning to end. Let's discuss each phase. The first phase is preparation. Organizations must prepare to mitigate the likelihood, risk, and impact of a security incident by documenting procedures, establishing staffing plans, and educating users. Preparation sets the foundation for successful incident response. For example, organizations can create incident response plans and procedures that outline the roles and responsibilities of each security team member. The second phase is detection and analysis. The objective of this phase is to detect and analyze events using defined processes and technology. Using appropriate tools and strategies during this phase helps security analysts determine whether a breach has occurred and analyze its possible magnitude. The third phase is containment. The goal of containment is to prevent further damage and reduce the immediate impact of a security incident. During this phase, security professionals take actions to contain an incident and minimize damage. Containment is a high priority for organizations because it helps prevent ongoing risks to critical assets and data. The fourth phase in an incident response playbook is eradication and recovery. This phase involves the complete removal of an incident's artifacts so that an organization can return to normal operations. During this phase, security professionals eliminate artifacts of the incident by removing malicious code and mitigating vulnerabilities. Once they've exercised due diligence, they can begin to restore the affected environment to a secure state. This is also known as IT restoration. The fifth phase is post-incident activity. This phase includes documenting the incident, informing organizational leadership, and applying lessons learned to ensure that an organization is better prepared to handle future incidents. Depending on the severity of the incident, organizations can conduct a full-scale incident analysis to determine the root cause of the incident and implement various updates or improvements to enhance its overall security posture. The sixth and final phase in an incident response playbook is coordination. Coordination involves reporting incidents and sharing information throughout the incident response process based on the organization's established standards. Coordination is important for many reasons. It ensures that organizations meet compliance requirements and it allows for coordinated response and resolution. There are many ways security professionals may be alerted to an incident. You recently learned about SIM tools and how they collect and analyze data. They use this data to detect threats and generate alerts, which can inform the security team of a potential incident. Then, when a security analyst receives a SIM alert, they can use the appropriate playbook to guide the response process. SIM tools and playbooks work together to provide a structured and efficient way of responding to potential security incidents. Throughout the program, you'll have opportunities to continue to build your understanding of these important concepts. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to revisit SIM tools and how they're used alongside playbooks to reduce organizational threats, risks, and vulnerabilities. An incident response playbook is a guide that helps security professionals mitigate issues with a heightened sense of urgency while maintaining accuracy. Playbooks create structure, ensure compliance, and outline processes for communication and documentation. Organizations may use different types of incident response playbooks depending on the situation. For example, an organization may have specific playbooks for addressing different types of attacks, such as ransomware, malware, distributed denial of service, and more. To start, let's discuss how a security analyst might use a playbook to address a SIM alert, like a potential malware attack. In this situation, a playbook is invaluable for guiding an analyst through the necessary actions to properly address the alert. The first action in the playbook is to assess the alert. This means determining if the alert is actually valid by identifying why the alert was generated by the SIM. This can be done by analyzing log data and related metrics. Next, the playbook outlines the actions and tools to use to contain the malware and reduce further damage. For example, this playbook instructs the analyst to isolate or disconnect the infected network system to prevent the malware from spreading into other parts of the network. After containing the incident, Step 3 of the playbook describes ways to eliminate all traces of the incident and restore the affected systems back to normal operations. For example, the playbook might instruct the analyst to restore the impacted operating system, then restore the affected data using a clean backup created before the malware outbreak. Finally, once the incident has been resolved, Step 4 of the playbook instructs the analyst to perform various post-incident activities and coordination efforts with the security team. Some actions include creating a final report to communicate the security incident to stakeholders, or reporting the incident to the appropriate authorities, like the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigations or other agencies that investigate cyber crimes. This is just one example of how you might follow the steps in a playbook, since organizations develop their own internal procedures for addressing security incidents. What's most important to understand is that playbooks provide a consistent process for security professionals to follow. Note that playbooks are living documents, meaning the security team will make frequent changes, updates, and improvements to address new threats and vulnerabilities. In addition, organizations learn from past security incidents to improve their security posture, refine policies and procedures, and reduce the likelihood and impact of future incidents. Then, they update their playbooks accordingly. As an entry-level security analyst, you may be required to use playbooks frequently, especially when monitoring networks and responding to incidents. Having an understanding of why playbooks are important and how they can help you achieve your working objectives will help ensure your success within this field.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erin, and I am a privacy engineer at Google. I work on speculative and emerging technology, so think of things that don't exist in the world and that are coming within the next 2 to 5 years. My role is basically to take a look at all of the things that we are creating in terms of technology and making sure that privacy is embedded in that. I am thinking for users before they even touch the product, making sure that when they utilize them, they'll have some form of trust in the engagement with that product, as well as knowing that we are protecting their privacy, things that they don't want to share or broadcast, and making sure that they're informed before they even touch the product. I always talk about soft skills being the most important thing over the technical skills because we can teach you anything, but we can't teach you how to relate to people. That is something that you bring to the table. Diversity of thought and diversity of perspectives are very useful in understanding the world that we exist in because if we are designing products for everyday people, we need everyday people to basically help us understand those perspectives because I may look at something one way, but my colleague may see it another way based on their own experiences. And so when you work together and come from different environments, you actually bring more equity and more depth to the things that you're looking at. And the perspective that you bring is the essential voice that is required in order to make a product better. When you look at people who work in journalism or people who, like myself, worked in entertainment, they are bringing a different perspective for how they would tackle something. Or if we have a product where we are trying to convince a product team that maybe we shouldn't do this, it's always helpful to say, from someone who worked in journalism, do we really want this to end up in the Times? Probably not, right? And that is a way to come at people that on the ground floor, they understand what that looks like. All of the experiences that you have had from the time you were born to now, they have been your experience. And you have to think about that in terms of where we're going with technology. When we're developing for a wide array of people, your experience may be someone else's experience. And so if we don't have you in the room, then we are missing the opportunity to actually bring something beautiful, I would say, to the equation, which is why I encourage people, please come, work with us in terms of technology, get involved in STEM because the equity across products, security, privacy, you name it, whether it be, software engineering, everything requires a different voice, and it actually requires your voice.
Let's review what we covered in this section. We began by discussing the purpose of playbooks. Then, we examined the 6 phases of an incident response playbook, including an example of how a playbook might be used to address an incident. Playbooks are just one of the essential tools you'll use as a security analyst. They provide a structured, consistent approach to handling security incidents and can help you respond to security incidents quickly. Knowing how and when to use a playbook will allow you to make informed decisions about how to respond to a security incident when it occurs, and help to minimize the impact and damage it may cause your organization and the people it serves. Following the steps of the playbook and communicating appropriately with your team will ensure your effectiveness as a security professional. Congratulations on completing this course. Let's recap what we've covered so far. First, we reviewed CISSP's 8 security domains and focused on threats, risks, and vulnerabilities to business operations. Then, we explored security frameworks and controls and how they're a starting point for creating policies and processes for security management. This included a discussion of the CIA triad, NIST frameworks, and security design principles, and how they benefit the security community as a whole. This was followed by a discussion about how frameworks, controls, and principles are related to security audits. We also explored basic security tools, such as SIM dashboards, and how they are used to protect business operations. And finally, we covered how to protect assets and data by using playbooks. As a security analyst, you may be working on multiple tasks at once. Understanding the tools you have at your disposal and how to use them will elevate your knowledge in the field while helping you successfully accomplish your everyday tasks. Coming up next in the program, my colleague Chris will provide more details about topics covered in this course and introduce you to some new core security concepts. I've enjoyed sharing this journey with you.